You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host, who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong, author and cerebral palsy advocate, Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
Welcome to Ask When, everyone. This afternoon I have Kathy with me, and so I'm going to let Kathy take it away and explain more about her story.
Oh, well, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I'm so excited. I am a business coach specializing in conflict resolution. So, not that we ever experience any of that, right?
Yeah.
Primarily, yeah, especially right now. I really, my mission is to help business owners stop wasting time on handling drama in the office among their employees and focus that time on what's really important, which is their business. So primarily I do this through developing strategies along with the management team that allow for improved communication and increase their productivity and overall reduce conflict. So we're all out to... I'm sorry?
Where were you when I was just going to say, where were you when I needed you, when I quit my job due to conflict? They did not quite understand that, well, they were on spring break and they did not quite have a plan put in place, and they did not tell me the plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about communication at the end of the day. And I say this a lot, that it doesn't matter what industry you're in, what product you've designed, what role you're in, the common denominator of any business challenge is the people. And so if you don't understand the people, then you're never... my opinion is that you're just never going to have successful, cohesive teams, and you're going to have a successful business.
No. And I was ready for my ex job to say, which was Aspen Country Day, to say, oh, we have a plan. Oh, we have a plan. We're doing this X, Y, and Z. But instead, they said, oh, we recommend you stay in self-isolation, and then we'll come back to you with the plan. No, they said self-isolation is the best thing for you. And I just sent them back an email. I was very nice about it and said, thanks so much for your support. I won't be coming back.
Wow.
So yes, I was essentially laid off because of coronavirus, because those did not have a plan and they were coming off spring break. So, yep.
And that's so difficult. I mean, we've heard and everyone said what an unprecedented time. And I really don't think that, at least for the first 2 weeks, people really know which way was up. I think this week is where it's as close to being back to business as usual. But what I've told my clients and folks who are asking me for help right now is, maybe you just need to look at, well, a couple of things. You need to know who is vulnerable at this point working from home. So a lot of teams work remotely now and have been for years and have been very successful.
Yeah.
Right now, people are working from home remotely for the first time. So a good
Yeah.
leader is going to know who's going to thrive and who's not going to survive in this environment. So they may need to do a temporary restructure, or maybe move some people around based on their talents and their skill set, and also taking into consideration what their new home life is going to be like. So I wouldn't, I know they're quick to maybe dismiss some folks, and obviously there's some revenue or some costs associated with that and cost savings. But at the same time, people could have been moved around in different roles and have still been successful.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's one of the things that I wish my team, looking back on it, had given me the choice, instead of um, saying, we don't know what we're doing, and we think self-isolation is the best for you. And it truly breaks my heart. I'm going to cry on this podcast. I've cried on Facebook. Because it truly breaks my heart, because I could have stepped in and helped these kids where I could have, but they just wanted to let me go. And I am slowly but surely getting a journalism degree, which is a bit off to me. But at the same time, I will always be an educator at heart. But I agree with you that people need to think about how people dynamics are going to work
Yep.
and what's going on. People need to be aware of what's going on, and they don't need, well, I know that Gap and Macy's followed Gap followed 80,000 yesterday. And so I I know that retail's taking a hit, but they also need to understand that people have feelings, and
Mhm.
people are suffering right now. And I thank God I'm in a blessed position that I still have a roof over my head. I have money. I
Mhm.
have the loving support that I do. And so I am very, very, very blessed, and I don't take that for granted. But those of us who those who are single moms and can't see which way's up, and especially dealing with a disabled child. Thank you very much. Not the neurotypical child, the disabled child. I get more concerned about for people with disabilities than
Yeah.
everywhere else.
It's a time for leaders to really step up and not only be transparent about what's happening when they can, but also to lead with compassion and empathy right now, because people, especially, a lot of folks, there's some people that love this stuff, right? They thrive on change and they're going to be successful no matter what. But there are other people who really need assurances that everything's going to be okay. And that's where the empathy side comes in for leadership. And that's hard for some folks.
I am not the type, and people know this, I am not the type. I had a big change in my life in 2019, and my fan base knows it. I lost my dad. And so
Oh,
and I also lost my biological mom in 2010. So I'm not the biggest type for change. I mean, I was um, a duck swimming upstream, and people knew it. And so I'm not the biggest fan of change. I think that most people aren't. but I'm learning how to come out the other side of these changes, especially with what's going on now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so hard to make a or think of a long-term decision when everything seems to change day by day or hour by hour. So, I know that we have to have some patience, but I still think there's a better way of communicating. And I think
Yes.
the you know, for me, it's for us as individuals and for leaders, the more you understand yourself, the easier it is to adapt to others. And a lot of people are being asked to adapt right now. And the ones who can adapt more easily are going to be the ones that are successful and thrive for sure going
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Well, enough of the changing climate right now, literally, I guess, because that's what I did not bring Kathy on to talk about. But because of the nature of Kathy's work, I had to like swing it
Mhm.
into what is going on right now. But Kathy, if you
Yeah.
had to move house and only take 4 things with you, what would they be?
Hmm. That's a great question. Um, like a music or a book or something like that?
Anything, anything. It doesn't have to be music. It doesn't have. It can be anything.
I don't know if you can hear my dog barking in the background. I apologize for that because I was
Oh yes, oh yes, but
um,
make it makes it real.
yeah, I mean, everybody's at home, right? I was gonna say I'll take my dog. Maybe after that, I won't take my dog, but,
Yeah,
um, I'd probably
okay.
take my children and my dog and any old pictures that I have.
Yeah, any old pictures. And when Kathy's talking about old pictures, she's not talking about digital pictures, you guys. She's talking about pictures, pictures.
Pictures with actual negatives and they come in a little
Pictures
white
with
envelope
actual negative. And
and
I grew up in the 90s, so I I know what's going on. I have pictures of my mom and myself taken with actual cameras and actual negatives. My dad and myself got taken digitally. I don't know why, but yeah, but it's when we talk about pictures, pictures can say 1,000 words. So that
Mhm.
is wonderful. And if your best friend was going to write a book about you, what would the title be?
Oh my goodness. My best friend, huh? Uh, I we never thought it would last.
We and why would that be the title?
Um, because you know how some people are different and have completely different ideas, and they think, "Oh, how could they possibly be getting along?"
Yes.
But, relationships like that, I think, tend to really last when you complement each other and you have that mutual respect and, are able to, call each other out on stuff that just isn't right and be able to be okay with that and still love each other and respect each other even when you don't share the same opinion.
Oh yes. Oh yes. My yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. But what is your favorite book and what is the title?
My favorite book, and it's so funny because I've thought about this so much over the last couple of weeks. My favorite book is by Stephen King, and it's called The Stand. And I read it when I was in high school, so that was many, many, many years ago, but probably 30 years ago now. And it was about pretty much like an apocalypse where people were just dying off because they got this crazy virus. And I just remember,
Yee.
I remember being
Okay.
so enthralled by this
Okay.
book at the time. And now when I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, we're living in the stand. So
Well,
that's so much
well,
stuff.
living, you guys, we're living in the stand. Don't go get the stand from your local library because that would just, I can't do Stephen King. I can't do Stephen King. The last Stephen King book I read, I had to put it down. It scared me so much. I can't do Stephen King. But gee, Pete's Kathy was
I,
living
I feel
in
like
a
tweeting
Stephen
him.
King book.
I should tweet him and say, hey, I think
Oh,
we're living in the stand. I think I'm
oh,
going to do that.
yeah. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, yeah. Jeez. We're living in a Stephen King book. Well, that's a good way to put it, not. That's a good way to put it, not. And Kathy, could you please give us your morning routine?
Well, there was the morning routine last month versus the morning routine this month.
Okay,
Um,
give us both.
okay, so last month was definitely a lot more organized. I have two children. One is 18 and a senior in high school, and the other one is 11 and a fifth grader. So that routine was a lot different when they were in school. And I would try to block out from 8 to 9, checking on emails and setting up things that I needed to do for the day. And then I would really try to work out because if I didn't do it in the morning, I never would. So I would try to do that. And then have client calls or client meetings. I try to schedule some CEO time so that I could work on my business. I typically do that on Monday and Friday mornings. But right now, we're getting up and making breakfast. We're sleeping in and and making big breakfasts and just enjoying the time that we have. So that's my morning routine right now. So I'm definitely staying up a lot later because I don't have the discipline
Yes,
during the day that I
yes,
have.
no,
Mm.
no. And it's so funny because I am waking up at the same time, but you guys, I am not getting out of bed until the last possible moment. And
Yeah.
for those who know me, who have worked with me too, know that I get up at 6:30. I'm up at 6:30, but I'm like, can we just stay in bed until 7:45? The last
Yeah.
possible moment that I can before my aide shows up at 8. I'm like, hey, oh,
Yeah. It
I'm
just
like,
doesn't
this
have
is
it just
not good. This is not good. This is
it's
not. This is not good. But
it sets the tone for the rest of the day, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. I'm going to try and get up and at least get up at 6:30 instead of staying in bed until at least 7:45 because it's not good. It's not
Right.
good, you guys. So, and
Mhm.
even if you do work from home, and thankfully, my laptop isn't in my room. My laptop is out in my office where I have
Oh.
to walk to it. And so that's, yeah, we can't put my laptop in my room. There's no way because I would be
Oh.
on it at every hour. So I would be
Mhm.
on it at every hour. I tried that. But at least I can walk to my office. But I still, because I'm out of my routine, I only by a little bit, I am being lazy about it.
Mhm.
Ugh. And I think we're all being lazy about it. People are going to be listening to this to say, Wendy, you're not the only one being lazy about it because of this
Oh,
what's going on
exactly.
right now.
Yeah. So many people that I've talked to, a lot of my colleagues, and we're all sharing the same experiences right now and the same feelings. And I try to
Oh,
get online as much as possible with them, just because I need the interaction.
yeah, yeah, the human interaction. No,
Mhm.
my stepmom said to me the other day, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing perfectly fine, but the only outside human interaction other than you and my aide, is my podcast.
Yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
podcast, to be honest. And I'm like, oh boy, this is not good. Oh boy, this is not good because no, we like social contact. But
Yes.
as we wrap this interview up, do you have any questions for me?
I was curious as to how you find your guests.
Oh, my my skills have gotten pretty good. I just ask people. I am surfing on Facebook groups. I am on Twitter. I am on every which way. I just ask people.
Because you have a
And
lot of interesting people with a lot of different backgrounds and a lot of different experiences. And usually you find, people who have the same type of people talking about the same topics. And when I was listening to some of your podcast, it was just interesting for me to see so many different people with so many interesting stories.
well, thank you for saying that. And no, I didn't ask Kathy to say that. But I just ask people, can I interview? And it's like, wow, when you do ask people and not, and here's a tip for you guys. When I ask you, you don't have to have any knowledge about cerebral palsy. You guys think you do, but you guys don't have to have any knowledge about cerebral palsy whatsoever. I am just here as the doormat, and and I welcome interesting people with fascinating stories, including Cassie. And I am just here as the hostess with mostest and the doormat. And I want people to open up, and you have no fears of cerebral palsy. You can have no information about cerebral palsy unless you want to.
I think that's great, and I will continue to listen because I'm fascinated by some of the
Yeah,
folks.
no. You're probably fascinated. You're like, what? The
Mhm.
yeah, and so the this and a lot of the podcasts now are people's beacons of hope because they're trying to stay away from the news because the news is like so depressing and it's
Mhm.
not even funny. I mean,
No.
my stepmom, and here's a tip, you guys: bring a puzzle. My stepsister, because she knows that my stepmom likes puzzles. She sent puzzles to my stepmom to my house. And so bring in a puzzle if you guys want something to do and listen to a podcast. I mean, we all need to keep ourselves distracted right now. We can
Mhm.
listen to the news in the morning and that's it.
Yeah. I would rather, I mean, a lot of people now being home, a lot of people are listening to podcasts because they're taking the dog for a
Yeah.
walk
Yeah.
or they're
Yeah.
exercising and they're just the right amount of time that, 20 to 40 minutes is perfect for
And,
that.
and someone said to me, um, someone said to me on a podcast that podcast consumption has gone down because
Mm,
people are not driving to work.
that's
And
true.
I'm
Yeah.
like, no, that's not true. My consumption has gone up because
Yeah.
of my listenership has exploded because of I'm using it as a beginner role.
Yeah, and that is true, and you are positive. That commute though, there were a lot of podcasts, but now the commute's turned into a dog walk.
Yeah, the
Mm,
commute,
yeah.
commute. I love it. I love it. I love it. The commute to do it. I love it without without your friends too because of social distancing. I love it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, my
so
dog's my
yes.
best friend.
And Kathy, where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you. I'm sure you're going to be the popular woman of the hour as soon as this episode comes out. Everyone's
Oh,
going to be like flocking to Kathy, thinking, "Oh, I need help with my teams now."
oh, I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to talk to anyone. My website is kmmdisc.com. Also on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn as Kathy Marcino. So I put a lot of information out on Instagram, a lot of links to blogs and videos with tips on communication and leadership and conflict resolution.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. So go search Kelsey, you guys, and listen to us win, and just be safe, be healthy, be happy, and don't let and follow those warnings and try not to land up in the hospital. If you can stay away from the hospital, that would be wonderful, you guys. But try and stay healthy, try and stay safe, try and stay happy, and that's all we can do.
That's
That's
all we can
all we
do.
can do right now is stay safe, stay happy and healthy. And this epidemic, mark my words when I say this, won't be over in the US until August. I am thinking that it won't be over until August. I did I said in June on my Facebook, but it's almost April. It's gonna be April as of tomorrow, and
Yeah.
we're not looking so hot. And
No.
so I've backtracked it and given it till at least August. So that's where we stand on that.
Mm.
And I want you guys to be safe, be happy, be healthy, and make this world a better place, you guys, as much as you can. Thanks, you guys.
You just listened to Ask Win, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwin.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Win on Twitter at WinKellyCharles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Win's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Win, the podcast.